Hey, welcome to the channel. I've been waiting for quite a while to do this video, thinking about it and thinking about what I was going to say regarding it. But the topic of this video is why I left YouTube and my reasons for why I'm coming back. So let me just give you a little background on the video in case you're not familiar with the channel. I started this channel about 4 years ago. And originally, it was always financially oriented. I started out with talking about various industries, including energy, and doing deep dives into various companies and things of that nature, recommending some stocks. Probably the biggest one that I recommended was Exxon when it was selling for 33, and then, of course, wrote it up to 120. So that was a good one. Moderna, I recommended at 124, wrote it up to 500. I sold out around 300. And there were a number of others. I won't go into all of them. But before I go further on this, let me start by giving you some background on me, just so you know who I am and how I got to this place. I started out in business as an investment banker. I worked for a major Wall Street firm for close to 15 years, where I rose up the ranks to managing director when I left. And I was essentially a senior investment banker at a major Wall Street firm. And I was specializing at that point in energy and financed and built power plants, as well as did financing and advisory work for regulated and unregulated utilities. Okay, so that was my basic experience. I got into real estate investing while I was on Wall Street. I had a partner, and I did quite a few deals with him. He was on the construction side, I was on the money side, and that was very successful. And when I left Wall Street, I had a short stint as a CFO in a venture capital-backed company. Did that for a few years. And then because of the success I had in the initial real estate foray, I decided to go into commercial real estate investing full-time, which I did around 2002 timeframe. I did that for about 10 years and made it through 08-09, which was a very difficult period. And I ended up leaving that company because I didn't get along with my partner. And that was a kind of a very traumatic thing, because when you're intertwined in business and you have, loans that you have outstanding and corporate lines of credit and all these kinds of things and commitments to investors, it's very difficult to extricate yourself from something like that. But over a period of a year or so, I was able to do that. And I went back into the financing side of business. I was with JP Morgan for a number of years. And then I left JP Morgan and went with more of a startup company, an entrepreneurial company that was also in commercial real estate. And around the time of the COVID situation, business had slowed down, so I decided, what the hell, let's start a YouTube channel where I can share my business insights and knowledge of the market, knowledge of commercial real estate market, and business in general. People might find that valuable, me sharing those experiences, okay? As I said earlier, the initial foray into it, I focused on the stock market. And if you remember, during the end of 2020 into 21, 22, there was a lot of people interested in the stock market. Stock market was booming, so it made sense to focus on that. And so, as I said, I started out looking at individual companies, did that quite a bit, and then went into other business areas, talked about the market in general, talked about Fed policy, and all of the things that interest me and also I thought would interest other people. For a solid maybe 3 years, I was posting consistently and spending, a fair amount of my free time, because I did have a full-time job through that whole time period. I would do it on weekends and at night, and at times when I was free, when I could do it. I did it fairly consistently, and I devoted a fair amount of time staying up till 2, 3 in the morning, editing and stuff like that. And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And the reason I'm here today, and the reason I'm talking about quitting YouTube, is because I just got to the point where I felt like I was on a hamster wheel. I was putting out this content. Some of it probably wasn't that great, but some of it I thought was really good. And if I was on the receiving end of it, I would have said, wow, that was a really good video. But the problem was I would spend an inordinate amount of time planning, writing, filming, and then the worst part, editing. And then I would put it out, with all this excitement, and then I get 500 views. Okay, and it was just demoralizing, and after a while, you're just like, why am I doing this? Nobody cares. I felt like the general viewing public out there was not, I'm not going to say on the same level as what I was talking about, because that sounds like I'm being, all full of myself. That's not what I'm trying to say. But I think the way I was interpreting the market and the people I was bringing to the table, like Stanley Druckenmiller and Jamie Dimon and people like that, I just think was kind of like going above most people's heads that watch YouTube for financial information. And if you look at the most popular financially oriented channels on YouTube, they cater to a much more basic, much more consumer oriented viewing public than really what I was tapping into. So I wasn't really resonating in a way that was worth the time I was spending. And the real fact is, I haven't done a full-length video in probably 6 months. I started getting into these short videos. The short videos were attractive to me as a creator because I could make 1 point or 2 points or do a summary quickly, and they were easy to produce, they were easy to get out, and they got a lot more views. I mean, I was getting, whereas I spent all this time doing a long form video, I get 500 views, I'd spend a tenth of the time doing a short video, and I'd get 10,000 views, 20,000 views, in some cases 60, 70,000 views. So the most views I ever got on a long form video up until to this point is like 65,000 views. Okay, and that was on a video that I did a couple of years ago on Exxon and its Guyana discovery, which is still getting a fair number of views. But unless I just did 10 videos on Guyana, I wasn't generating the interest in the other stuff that I was doing. So I've thought a lot about this. I do enjoy making videos. I do enjoy sharing my views. I do enjoy the rewards of content creation, and I think that YouTube is a fantastic platform. But I thought a lot about it, and I thought about if I'm going to continue doing this, I have to change the orientation a little bit. Okay, so I wanted to put this video out to just let those know who used to watch my videos or who still do, even though I put them out infrequently. I just want to let you know, give you a heads up that I am going to come back. I am going to start doing full-length videos along with the shorts, and it is going to continue to be market/business oriented. However, just out of necessity, to keep my interest, and I think maybe to access a wider audience. At least I'm hoping it'll access a wider audience. I'm going to also touch on current events and occasionally politics, even though I know that that's very volatile today. But I think that by doing that, I think there are topics that relate to business and relate to the market and influence the market that have to do with current events and in some cases politics. We're in an election year right now, for example. A lot of people are focused on that. And, you know, a very wise, very wealthy businessman who I did business with when I was on Wall Street said to me one time, and I never forgot this: if you're in business and you're not in politics, involved in politics, you're not really in business. And I think if you think about that and how much politics and government policy affects business, you really have to talk about politics and current events if you're talking on a business-oriented channel, and one that also talks a lot about the markets, okay? So I think by broadening the approach, by not trying to necessarily recommend stocks as much, although I will still do deep dives into certain companies like NVIDIA, where I think that there are tremendous near-term and long-term investment opportunities. I'll still continue to do that. I'm going to broaden the outlook a little bit and touch more upon some current events and like geopolitical that are affecting the markets. And I may, delve into politics, political discussion, political analysis, and things of that nature because it interests me, and I think it's also important for anyone who's interested in business and the markets to follow and have a good grip on, because it does have a tremendous influence. Okay? Well, I hope I'm not getting too long-winded here, but I thought that this video was important to put out before I continue to make content and continue to, put out things on the channel. And I hope you got some value out of it, and I hope that those of you who have watched me in the past continue to watch, and I hope I can grow the audience with this new orientation. And I guess with that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye now.